Namaste. Welcome to Cosmic Cues, your favorite channel for Vedic Astrology, Monthly Horoscope. This video is for all Rashis for May 2026. You can view this video both for your Moon Rashi or for Lagna. However, in case you are viewing it for your Lagna, then please ignore the Sade Sati aspects. Aries Rashi. Aries Rashi Monthly Horoscope, May 2026. Overall Outlook. Dear Aries natives, May 2026 presents a profoundly transitional period marked by significant cosmic shifts that will alleviate early pressures and introduce new avenues for growth. The month begins with a heavy astrological atmosphere due to the intense conjunction of Mars and Saturn in Pisces, your 12th house of isolation and expenditure. This alignment may initially create a sense of restriction or hidden anxieties. However, a major energetic release occurs on May 11th when your ruling planet, Mars, breaks away from Saturn and transits into your own sign of Aries. This movement promises a tremendous surge in vitality and self-confidence. Furthermore, the transit of the Sun into Taurus on May 15th marks Vrishabha Sankranti, directing your focus toward financial security and family matters. A highly auspicious alignment unfolds as Venus transits into Gemini on May 14th to conjoin Jupiter, amplifying themes of learning, creativity, and harmonious communication. While you must navigate the ongoing lessons of Saturn in your 12th house, the planetary momentum in the latter half of the month strongly supports personal empowerment and material consolidation. Business and career. The professional landscape for Aries individuals in May 2026 is defined by a distinct tale of two halves. During the first 10 days, the exacting and harsh conjunction of Mars and Saturn in your 12th house suggests a period where you may feel your efforts are unacknowledged or that you are battling unseen obstacles in your career. This is a time for strategic planning rather than aggressive expansion. You might be required to resolve legacy issues, finalize projects behind the scenes, or manage sudden professional expenditures. A dramatic positive shift manifests when Mars enters your first house in the nakshatra of Ashwini on May 11th. This transit restores your executive command, endowing you with the courage and assertiveness needed to lead new initiatives and conquer professional challenges. Your ability to take decisive action will be your greatest asset. The second half of the month is particularly promising for commerce and negotiations. Mercury transits into Taurus on May 15th, joining the Sun to form a favorable Buddhaditya Yoga in your second house of wealth. This alignment concentrates energy on finance and communication, making it an excellent time to pitch ideas, negotiate contracts, or request a salary increment. Additionally, Rahu continues its long-term transit in Aquarius, your 11th house of gains, providing unconventional opportunities for networking and expanding your professional influence. Health and well-being. Your physical and mental well-being requires strategic attention during May 2026. The month begins with your Lagna Lord, Mars, engaged in a stressful conjunction with Saturn in your 12th house. This intense planetary war can manifest as sleep disturbances, nervous exhaustion, or a general feeling of low vitality. It is crucial to prioritize rest and avoid overexertion during the first 10 days. A profound restoration of health occurs when Mars enters Aries on May 11th. This transit replenishes your physical strength and immune system, allowing you to recover swiftly from any lingering ailments. You will likely feel a renewed motivation to engage in physical fitness routines. Later in the month, as the Sun and Mercury move into Taurus, your second house, attention should shift to your dietary habits and throat health. You may be prone to minor throat infections or issues related to excessive consumption of rich foods. Additionally, with the full moon occurring in your 8th house of Scorpio on May 30th, it is advisable to be mindful of emotional stress and to practice grounding exercises to maintain psychological equilibrium. Love and relationships. In the realm of romance, May 2026 offers a beautiful progression from quiet stability to vibrant social connection. Early in the month, Venus transits through Taurus in the nakshatra of Rohini, fostering a desire for sensual comforts and loyalty within your closest relationships. This grounding energy is beneficial for family harmony. The relational atmosphere becomes significantly more dynamic after May 14th, when Venus transits into Gemini to join Jupiter. This highly auspicious conjunction of the two greatest benefics in your third house strongly amplifies relationships, social interactions, and creative expression. For single Aries natives, this transit presents a high probability of meeting a romantic interest through local community events, short trips, or mutual acquaintances. Your charm and communication skills will be exceptionally magnetic. For couples, this is a wonderful period to reignite romance through shared intellectual pursuits or weekend getaways. However, it is important to remain mindful of Ketu continuing its transit in Leo, your fifth house of romance. This placement might occasionally induce a sense of emotional detachment or a desire for unconventional relationship dynamics. Maintaining open, honest, and frequent communication will be the key to balancing the vibrant social energy with your deeper emotional needs. Sade Sati Report. For Aries moon sign natives, May 2026 represents a critical period within the overarching cycle of Sade Sati. The phenomenon of Sade Sati commences when Saturn transits the 12th house from the natal moon. With Saturn remaining in Pisces throughout the month, you are actively navigating the first phase of this profound 7.5-year karmic cycle. During this initial phase, Saturn transits through the 12th house of expenditure, isolation, and foreign lands. In May 2026, Saturn continues its steady transit in the nakshatra of Uttara Bhadrapada. This specific placement demands a deep restructuring of your psychological foundations and material attachments. The 12th house transit often initiates a period of internal review, where subconscious fears and past karmic debts come to the surface for resolution. The most immediate manifestation of this transit is often felt in the realm of finances and mental peace. You may experience an increase in unforeseen expenditures, making financial discipline an absolute necessity. It is common to feel a sense of detachment from your usual social circles or a desire for solitude. The harsh conjunction of Mars and Saturn in this house during the first 10 days of May amplifies these pressures, potentially leading to sleep disturbances or anxiety regarding hidden enemies or unresolved issues. However, it is vital to understand that this first phase of Sade Sati is not purely punitive. It is a necessary preparation for the profound personal growth that will occur when Saturn eventually crosses your natal moon. This period invites you to embrace spiritual practices, meditation, and a simpler way of living. By accepting Saturn's demand for discipline and surrendering the need for absolute control, you can utilize this transit to build immense inner resilience. Focus on selfless service, careful financial planning, and trusting the transformative process that Saturn is orchestrating in your life. Thank you for listening. Namaste. Taurus Rashi. Taurus Rashi Monthly Horoscope, May 2026. Overall Outlook. Dear Taurus natives, May 2026 presents a profoundly transformative period where celestial alignments heavily activate your houses of wealth, career, and personal identity. The month begins with a carryover of the intense Mars and Saturn conjunction in your 11th house of gains. This energy might demand disciplined effort to realize financial aspirations. However, a significant shift occurs mid-month as a highly benefic conjunction of Venus and Jupiter forms in your second house of Gemini starting May 14th. This auspicious pairing strongly amplifies themes of learning, creativity, and wealth accumulation. Simultaneously, the Sun and Mercury enter your own sign of Taurus on May 15th, sparking a favorable Buddhaditya yoga that concentrates energy on finance, commerce, and communication. While planetary forces offer tremendous opportunities for material and intellectual growth, the continued presence of Ketu in your fourth house may require you to balance worldly success with domestic harmony. Expect a dynamic month where careful navigation could yield substantial rewards. Business and career. The astrological terrain for your professional endeavors in May 2026 is marked by ambitious drives and strategic repositioning. Rahu continues its long-term transit in your 10th house of career in Aquarius, residing in the Shatabhisha nakshatra throughout the month. This placement is likely to fuel a strong desire for professional recognition and might present unconventional avenues for advancement. During the first 10 days, the exacting conjunction of Mars and Saturn in your 11th house remains fully active, suggesting that networking and realizing professional gains will require immense patience and structural discipline. Once Mars breaks away into Aries on May 11th, moving into your 12th house, you might experience a subtle shift in workplace dynamics. This transit into Ashwini Nakshatra could indicate potential travel related to work or a need to manage hidden professional expenses. The second half of the month brings a surge of clarity and executive presence. The Sun transits into your first house of Taurus on May 15th, Makan Vrishabha Sankranti, joined by Mercury. This Buddhaditya yoga in your Ascendant focuses your mental acuity on commerce and strategic communication, empowering you to lead projects with confidence. Professional dialogues are likely to be fruitful, especially as Mercury gradually moves away from the sun-burning rays as the month progresses. Health and well-being. Your physical vitality and mental well-being in May 2026 require a balanced approach, blending proactive care with emotional grounding. The month begins with the sun in your 12th house, which might leave you feeling slightly depleted or prone to fatigue. However, a significant boost in energy arrives on May 15th when the sun transits into your ascendant, Taurus, Makan Vrishabha Sankranti. This transit illuminates your first house, rejuvenating your physical constitution and enhancing your immune system. Mercury joins the sun on the same day, focusing your mind on holistic health practices. You might feel inspired to adopt a new fitness regimen or dietary plan. Despite this positive shift, you must remain vigilant about stress management. Mars transits into your 12th house of Aries on May 11th, which could lead to disturbed sleep patterns or subconscious anxiety. It is highly recommended to incorporate calming routines before bed. Additionally, the continued presence of Ketu in your 4th house suggests that unresolved emotional matters related to your domestic life could manifest as psychosomatic symptoms. The full moon on May 1st could bring hidden health matters to light, urging you to address them promptly. Prioritize cardiovascular health and ensure you are getting adequate rest. Love and relationships. Matters of the heart in May 2026 are poised for delightful expansion, though they may require mindful emotional navigation. Your ruling planet, Venus, begins the month in your 1st house, enhancing your natural charm and physical appeal. On May 14th, Venus transits into Gemini, joining Jupiter in your 2nd house. This forms a highly auspicious conjunction of the two greatest benefics, strongly amplifying themes of relationships, family harmony, and verbal expressions of affection. For singles, your eloquence and grace could attract potential partners who value intellect and shared values. For those in committed partnerships, this transit provides a beautiful window to deepen your bond through meaningful conversations and shared financial goals. However, the domestic sphere might experience underlying emotional currents. Ketu remains in Leo in your 4th house, transients through the Magha Nakshatra throughout May. This placement could induce a sense of detachment or mild dissatisfaction within your home environment. You might find yourself seeking spiritual or emotional independence from family expectations. The new moon in Taurus on May 16th offers a powerful moment for personal reset, allowing you to align your relationship needs with your authentic self. Communication is your greatest asset this month to bridge any emotional gaps. Thank you for listening. Namaste. Gemini Rashi. Gemini Rashi Monthly Horoscope, May 2026. Overall Outlook. Dear Gemini natives, May 2026 unfolds as a month of profound personal transformation and shifting focal points. Jupiter continues its benevolent transit through your 1st house of self, bestowing a period of personal growth, wisdom, and expanded perspectives. The early days of the month are marked by a heavy concentration of energy in your 10th house of career, where Saturn and Mars remain in a rigorous conjunction until May 11th. This intense planetary alignment suggests a phase where immense professional pressure may be felt, demanding discipline and resilience. However, the celestial weather shifts dramatically as the month progresses. The ingress of Venus into your own sign on May 14th creates a beautiful conjunction with Jupiter, signaling a time of enhanced charm, intellectual brilliance, and relational harmony. Conversely, the transition of the Sun and Mercury into your 12th house of isolation and expenditure around mid-month advises a need for introspection and rest. This is a time to balance your outward magnetism with periods of quiet reflection. Business and career. The astrological landscape for your professional life in May 2026 is characterized by significant shifts and high demands. The month begins with a formidable conjunction of Mars and Saturn in Pisces, your 10th house of career and public standing. This transit indicates a period where you may experience intense workloads, strict deadlines, or friction with authority figures. Saturn demands unwavering discipline, while Mars fuels a desire for rapid progress, potentially leading to moments of frustration. It is highly advisable to maintain a steady, patient approach during these initial 10 days. Relief arrives when Mars breaks this conjunction and moves into Aries, your 11th house of gains, on May 11th. This transition is likely to unlock new professional networks and bring recognition for the hard work you endured earlier in the month. You might find that collaborative projects yield sudden, positive results. Furthermore, Rahu continues its transit in your 9th house in Aquarius, suggesting that unconventional ideas or connections with foreign entities could play a role in your career advancement. However, as the Sun and Mercury transit into your 12th house on May 15th, you must be cautious about hidden competitors or potential misunderstandings in corporate communications. The Buddhaditya Yoga formed here might spark brilliant strategic insights, but they are best developed behind the scenes rather than launched publicly. Trust your intuition and use this period for careful planning. Health and well-being. Your physical and mental well-being in May 2026 will largely depend on how you manage stress and balance your energy. The month starts with the heavy Mars and Saturn conjunction in your 10th house, which can easily translate to physical exhaustion and career-related burnout. It is essential to prioritize rest and avoid overexerting yourself during the first 10 days. As Jupiter transits your first house, it provides a fundamental layer of vitality and optimism, aiding in your recovery from any minor ailments. The conjunction of Venus and Jupiter starting May 14th further enhances your emotional well-being, encouraging you to engage in joyful activities that nourish your soul. However, as the Sun and Mercury move into your 12th house on May 15th, you may experience a dip in your physical energy levels. The 12th house is associated with rest, hospitals, and recuperation. You might feel a heightened need for sleep or find yourself susceptible to minor stress-related issues. The new moon on May 16th is a critical time to listen to your body and engage in restorative practices like meditation or gentle yoga. Love and relationships. In the realm of relationships, May 2026 offers a narrative of blossoming romance paired with emotional depth. The most auspicious event for your love life is the transit of Venus, the planet of affection, into your own sign of Gemini on May 14th. Here, Venus joins the expansive Jupiter, creating a highly favorable alignment that amplifies your natural charisma and attractiveness. For single Gemini natives, the second half of the month is an exceptionally promising period to meet someone new. Your communication skills will be your greatest asset, drawing in partners who appreciate your intellect and wit. Those already in committed relationships will likely experience a phase of renewed joy, deeper understanding, and shared intellectual pursuits. This conjunction strongly supports harmonious interactions and conflict resolution. However, a note of caution is necessary. Ketu continues its journey through your 3rd house in Leo, which can occasionally lead to detached or blunt communication with close companions or siblings. It is important to ensure that your words convey warmth rather than indifference. Additionally, the new moon in Taurus on May 16th falls in your 12th house, which might bring up subconscious emotional patterns or a desire for temporary seclusion. Openly sharing these vulnerable feelings with your partner will foster a stronger, more resilient bond. Approach love with honesty and a willingness to understand unspoken emotional currents. Thank you for listening. Namaste. Cancer Rashi. Cancer Rashi Monthly Horoscope, May 2026. Overall Outlook. Dear Cancer natives, May 2026 unfolds as a month of profound inner reflection and external achievement. The month begins with the carryover of the heavy Mars and Saturn conjunction in Pisces. This alignment may demand immense patience. However, a significant shift occurs when Mars breaks its intense conjunction with Saturn by transients out of Pisces and into its own sign, Aries, on May 11th. You are likely to experience a powerful surge in ambition. Furthermore, concurrently, a highly benefic conjunction of Venus and Jupiter forms in Gemini starting May 14th. This pairing strongly amplifies themes of learning, creativity, wealth, and relationships. With Rahu continuing its long-term transit in Aquarius, caution remains necessary regarding hidden matters. Overall, it is a time to balance private spiritual expansion with bold public actions. Business and career. The professional sphere for Cancer natives in May 2026 presents a dynamic tale of two halves. During the initial days, the exactingly harsh conjunction in Pisces remains fully active in the first 10 days of the month. Situated in your 9th house, this might create delays and require meticulous planning. A significant shift occurs as Mars transits from Pisces into Aries on May 11th. Aries constitutes your 10th house of career. Entering Ashwini Nakshatra upon its ingress into Aries, Mars is likely to infuse you with immense executive drive. Subsequently, by mid-month, the focus shifts to Taurus with a Sun and Mercury conjunction. This alignment sparks a favorable Buddhaditya Yoga, concentrating energy on finance, commerce, and communication. Collaborative projects and networking are highly favored during this period. The latter half of the month is an excellent time to pitch new ideas to influential circles. Health and well-being. Your physical and emotional well-being in May 2026 necessitates proactive care. A primary astrological factor is Rahu continuing its long-term transit in Aquarius. Occupying your 8th house and remaining in Shatabhisha Nakshatra throughout the month, Rahu can bring about sudden health fluctuations. The month begins with the moon transients Libra, which is a full moon. This might bring deep-seated emotional matters to the surface, making meditation highly beneficial. Additionally, the exactingly harsh conjunction in Pisces remains fully active in the first 10 days of the month. This could manifest as physical exhaustion. Fortunately, a highly auspicious conjunction of the two greatest benefics forms in Gemini starting May 14th. This benefic pairing suggests that any required treatments or periods of rest will be successful and rejuvenating. Prioritizing ample sleep will be your best defense. Love and relationships. Matters of the heart for Cancer natives this month are deeply intertwined with themes of spirituality and emotional depth. Venus transits through Rohini early in the month, occupying your 11th house of Taurus. This suggests social gatherings might naturally evolve into romantic opportunities. The emotional landscape deepens significantly when Venus transits from its own sign of Taurus into Gemini on May 14th, moving to conjunct Jupiter. Gemini represents your 12th house of privacy. A highly auspicious conjunction of the two greatest benefics forms in Gemini. This pairing strongly amplifies themes of relationships. For couples, this is an exquisite period for planning a private getaway. However, you must remain mindful of communication dynamics, as Ketu remains in Magha Nakshatra throughout May. Positioned in your second house of speech, this cautions against using words that could inadvertently wound your partner. Thank you for listening. Namaste. Leo Rashi. Leo Rashi Monthly Horoscope, May 2026. Overall Outlook. Dear Leo natives, May 2026 unfolds as a deeply transformative period that demands both your inherent courage and newly found strategic patience. The month begins under the heavy influence of an exacting conjunction between Mars and Saturn in your 8th house of Pisces. This transit requires careful navigation of sudden changes and hidden stressor. However, a significant shift occurs when Mars breaks this intense alignment and transits into your 9th house of Aries on May 11th. This movement heralds a return of your natural vitality and optimism. The celestial environment becomes notably supportive by mid-month. Jupiter continues its benevolent presence in your 11th house of Gemini. This placement bestows tremendous grace and networking opportunities. When Venus transits into Gemini on May 14th to conjunct Jupiter, a highly auspicious alignment forms. This pairing strongly amplifies themes of wealth and social expansion. Furthermore, the Sun and Mercury transit into your 10th house of Taurus on May 15th. This concentration of energy in your career sector promises substantial professional visibility and success. Business and career. Your professional life is poised for remarkable developments this month, requiring a balance of early caution and later bold action. During the first 10 days, the exacting conjunction of Mars and Saturn in Pisces remains fully active. Positioned in your 8th house, this alignment suggests you may encounter bureaucratic hurdles or unexpected delays in business negotiations. It is highly advisable to avoid launching major professional initiatives during this window. Patience will be your most valuable asset. The landscape brightens considerably as the month progresses. The focus shifts to Taurus with the Sun and Mercury conjunction taking place in your 10th house of career. The Sun enters Taurus on May 15th. Mercury also transits into Taurus on the exact same day. This alignment sparks a favorable Buddhaditya Yoga, concentrating energy on finance, commerce, and communication. For business owners and career professionals alike, this is a stellar period to showcase leadership, present new ideas, and take charge of high-visibility projects. You may experience a surge in authority and recognition. Additionally, Rahu continues its long-term transit in your 7th house of Aquarius. This placement indicates that unconventional partnerships or innovative business models could present themselves. Evaluate these opportunities carefully, ensuring they align with your long-term professional objectives. Health and well-being. Your physical and emotional well-being require attentive care this month, dear Leo. The presence of Ketu in your 1st house of Leo means you must remain highly attuned to your body. Ketu can sometimes obscure symptoms or lead to feelings of inexplicable fatigue. Grounding practices and routines that connect you to the physical world will be highly beneficial. Saturn remains in your 8th house of Pisces. This transit, known as Ashtama Shani, traditionally demands strict discipline regarding diet, rest, and chronic health management. The first 11 days of the month are critical. The harsh conjunction of Mars and Saturn in Pisces is fully active during this time. This intense planetary pressure in the house of sudden events means you must exercise extreme caution to avoid injuries, accidents, or acute stress-related ailments. Relief arrives when Mars transits out of Pisces and into Aries on May 11th. As Mars enters Ashwini Nakshatra, your vitality will begin to replenish. Furthermore, the benevolent presence of Jupiter in your 11th house provides a protective shield, aiding in recovery and encouraging a positive mental outlook. Engage in joyful social activities to maintain your emotional equilibrium. Love and relationships. The realm of love and relationships presents a fascinating dichotomy for Leo natives in May 2026. The nodes of the moon heavily influence your primary relationship axis. Ketu continues its long-term transit directly in your 1st house of Leo. This placement might foster a sense of internal detachment or a desire for profound spiritual independence. Simultaneously, Rahu remains stationed in your 7th house of Aquarius. This dynamic can manifest as an intense attraction to unconventional partners or a restless energy within existing commitments. Clear communication is paramount to avoid misunderstandings. The astrological climate shifts beautifully in the second half of the month. A highly auspicious conjunction of Venus and Jupiter forms in Gemini starting May 14th. Venus transits from Taurus into Gemini on this day. As these two greatest benefics unite in your 11th house of social networks, they strongly amplify themes of love and relationships. For single Leo individuals, this is a golden period. You are highly likely to meet romantic prospects through friends, group events, or professional networks. Your natural charisma will be greatly enhanced. For those in committed partnerships, this transit provides a wonderful opportunity to socialize together, reignite shared passions, and build a supportive community around your relationship. Thank you for listening. Namaste. Virgo Rashi. Virgo Rashi Monthly Horoscope, May 2026. Overall Outlook. Dear Virgo natives, May 2026 presents a dynamic celestial landscape emphasizing professional restructuring and interpersonal recalibration. The month begins with a heavy energetic concentration in your 7th house of partnerships, where Mars and Saturn form a demanding conjunction until May 11th. This alignment might necessitate patience and diplomacy in your close relationships. Simultaneously, your 10th house of career receives the expansive grace of Jupiter in Gemini, which will be further enhanced by the arrival of Venus on May 14th. This highly auspicious conjunction strongly amplifies themes of learning and wealth. Additionally, the Sun and Mercury transition into your 9th house of Taurus by mid-month, igniting a favorable Buddhaditya yoga that concentrates energy on finance and communication. You may find this period excellent for higher learning and spiritual pursuits. Balance the aggressive energies early in the month with the creative and expansive opportunities that unfold later. Business and career. The astrological configurations for your professional life in May 2026 appear highly constructive, particularly in the latter half of the month. Throughout May, the benevolent Jupiter resides in Gemini, activating your 10th house of career and public standing. This placement suggests a steady potential for professional growth and leadership opportunities. As the month progresses, Venus transits into Gemini on May 14th, joining Jupiter to form a highly auspicious conjunction. This pairing strongly amplifies themes of creativity and wealth in your career sector, indicating that you might receive recognition or find joy in collaborative projects. Furthermore, the transit of Mercury, your ruling planet, is crucial. Mercury begins the month in your 8th house but moves into your 9th house of Taurus on May 15th. Here, it joins the Sun, creating a favorable Buddhaditya yoga. This alignment concentrates energy on commerce and communication, suggesting that strategic planning, publishing, or international business endeavors could yield positive outcomes. However, the first 10 days require careful navigation. The exactingly harsh conjunction of Mars and Saturn in your 7th house of partnerships remains active until May 11th. This might manifest as friction with business partners or demanding clients. Once Mars breaks its intense conjunction with Saturn by transients out of Pisces and into its own sign, Aries, this intense pressure should dissipate, allowing for smoother negotiations. Maintain diplomatic communication and avoid forcing professional outcomes early in the month. Health and well-being. The health and vitality of Virgo individuals in May 2026 will largely depend on managing stress and maintaining a disciplined routine. Throughout the month, Ketu continues its long-term transit in Leo, occupying your 12th house of sleep and subconscious patterns. This placement might occasionally disrupt your rest or induce vague anxieties. It is beneficial to incorporate grounding practices such as meditation or gentle yoga before bed. The presence of Rahu in your 6th house of health and daily routines suggests a need for vigilance regarding dietary habits. You could be prone to sudden, minor ailments if you neglect your nutritional needs. During the first 10 days, the exacting Mars and Saturn conjunction in your 7th house could manifest as mental exhaustion stemming from interpersonal demands. However, as Mars transits into Aries on May 11th, moving into your 8th house, you must be cautious regarding physical safety to avoid minor injuries. The transit of Venus into Gemini on May 14th brings a soothing influence to your overall demeanor, encouraging you to find joy in your daily activities and supporting emotional equilibrium. Listen to your body and prioritize consistent, moderate exercise. Love and relationships. The relational sphere for Virgo natives during May 2026 might require a delicate balance of patience and emotional maturity. The month commences with the heavy Mars and Saturn conjunction residing in Pisces, which corresponds to your 7th house of significant partnerships. This exactingly harsh conjunction remains fully active in the first 10 days of the month, potentially introducing themes of restriction, duty, or temporary friction with your spouse or romantic partner. It is advisable to practice active listening and avoid unnecessary arguments during this phase. Relief and transformation arrive when Mars transits out of Pisces and into Aries on May 11th. As Mars enters your 8th house, the overt conflict in relationships may subside, though you might need to address deeper issues of shared resources or emotional intimacy. For single Virgo individuals, the middle of the month holds promising cosmic support. As Venus transits from Taurus into Gemini on May 14th, it moves to conjunct Jupiter. This highly benefic conjunction of Venus and Jupiter forms in your 10th house, suggesting that you could meet potential romantic interests through your professional network or workplace. This pairing strongly amplifies themes of learning and relationships. You are likely to project charm and competence, attracting individuals who appreciate your dedication and intellect. Allow connections to develop naturally without rushing commitments. Thank you for listening. Namaste. Libra Rashi. Libra Rashi Monthly Horoscope, May 2026. Overall Outlook. Dear Libra natives, the astrological landscape of May 2026 presents a deeply transformative period for you, characterized by significant planetary movements that stimulate both your intellect and your external partnerships. The month commences with the full moon illuminating your own sign, Libra, on May 1st, offering a potential for profound emotional clarity and a reset of your personal intentions. Throughout May, Jupiter maintains its progressive motion in Gemini, occupying your 9th house of fortune, which gently encourages a broadening of your philosophical horizons. Simultaneously, Saturn continues its steady transit through Pisces, your 6th house, demanding discipline and a realistic approach to your daily routines. This month, you may experience a beautiful synergy of energies as the heavy Mars and Saturn conjunction begins to dissolve, allowing for a more graceful flow of events. The overarching theme is one of cautious optimism, where you are invited to balance the structured demands of your work life with the expansive, joyous opportunities arising in your realms of higher learning and spiritual growth. Business and career. The professional sphere for Libra natives in May 2026 is marked by shifting dynamics and a strong need for adaptability. During the first 10 days of the month, the formidable conjunction of Mars and Saturn in Pisces, your 6th house of daily work and service, remains fully active. This alignment suggests a period where you may experience immense pressure, demanding tasks, or potential friction with colleagues. However, this same energy may provide the tenacity required to overcome significant professional hurdles. A major shift occurs when Mars transits out of Pisces and enters Aries on May 11th. Moving into your 7th house of public dealings and partnerships, Mars will likely inject assertiveness into your negotiations and collaborative projects. You might find yourself taking the lead in joint ventures. Furthermore, the Sun and Mercury transit into Taurus, your 8th house, on May 15th. This transition initiates a phase where deep research, strategic planning, and managing shared corporate resources become paramount. Mercury moves rapidly this month, further transients into Gemini on May 29, which could eventually ease communication. You are advised to maintain a cautious approach to new contracts around the new moon on May 16, as hidden variables might emerge. Focus on building trust and resolving underlying issues rather than forcing immediate external results. Health and well-being. Maintaining your physical and emotional vitality is crucial during May 2026. Saturn continues its steady transit in Pisces, your 6th house of health and daily routines, in the nakshatra of Uttara Bhadrapada. This placement generally grants you the endurance to manage ongoing health matters, but it also demands strict adherence to disciplined dietary and exercise regimens. The exacting conjunction of Mars and Saturn in the first 10 days of the month may elevate stress levels or manifest as muscular tension, requiring you to prioritize relaxation and recovery. Relief arrives as Mars moves into Aries on May 11, drawing energy away from your health sector. However, you must remain vigilant when the Sun and Mercury enter your 8th house on May 15. This transit, coupled with the new moon on May 16, suggests a potential for sudden fatigue or the necessity to address underlying, chronic issues. The auspicious presence of Venus and Jupiter in your 9th house from May 14 offers tremendous support for your emotional well-being, encouraging you to engage in joyful, uplifting activities that naturally boost your overall immunity. Love and relationships. Your relational life takes center stage in May 2026, offering a blend of passionate intensity and joyful exploration. Rahu continues its long-term transit in Aquarius, your 5th house of romance, which may continue to attract unconventional or highly stimulating romantic prospects into your orbit. The atmosphere brightens considerably when your ruling planet, Venus, transits into Gemini on May 14. Venus moves to conjunct Jupiter in your 9th house, forming a highly auspicious alignment that strongly amplifies themes of love, creativity, and harmonious relationships. For single Libra natives, there is a high potential to meet someone significant through travel, academic circles, or spiritual gatherings during the second half of the month. For those already in committed partnerships, the transit of Mars into Aries, your 7th house of marriage, on May 11 requires mindful navigation. While Mars can bring physical vitality and renewed passion to your bond, it may also trigger ego clashes or impulsive arguments. It is highly recommended to practice patience and active listening. The presence of Ketu in Leo, your 11th house, suggests that your broader social network might feel less fulfilling, urging you to focus more on deep, meaningful one-on-one connections. Thank you for listening. Namaste. Scorpio Rashi. Scorpio Rashi Monthly Horoscope, May 2026. Overall Outlook. Dear Scorpio natives, May 2026 unfolds as a deeply transformative period demanding both strategic patience and careful navigation. The month commences with your ruling planet Mars locked in a demanding conjunction with Saturn in Pisces, your 5th house of intellect and creativity. This planetary alignment may initially test your resolve and require immense discipline. However, a significant shift occurs when Mars transits into its own sign of Aries on May 11, moving into your 6th house of competition. This transition is likely to endow you with renewed vitality to conquer obstacles. Meanwhile, Jupiter maintains its progressive transit through Gemini, your 8th house of transformation. This position encourages profound internal growth but advises caution regarding shared resources. The transit of the Sun into Taurus on May 15 activates your 7th house of partnerships. You will need to balance your intense personal drive with the necessity for harmonious collaborations. Business and career. The professional landscape for Scorpio natives this May reveals a compelling narrative of overcoming initial hurdles to achieve decisive victories. As the month begins, Ketu continues its long-term transit through Leo, your 10th house of career. This influence might create a sense of detachment or a desire for unconventional professional paths. Concurrently, the first 10 days feature the intense conjunction of Mars and Saturn in your 5th house. This alignment suggests that creative projects or speculative business ventures could face delays, demanding rigorous effort and meticulous planning. A pivotal shift occurs when Mars breaks away from Saturn and enters Aries on May 11. Aries represents your 6th house, the domain of daily work and overcoming adversaries. With Mars holding immense power here, you are likely to experience a surge in competitive strength, making it an excellent time to assert leadership and tackle challenging tasks. Mars enters Ashwini Nakshatra upon this ingress, providing a swift, pioneering energy to your professional endeavors. Furthermore, Mercury transits into Taurus, your 7th house, on May 15th, joining the Sun to form a favorable Buddhaditya Yoga. This conjunction focuses energy on commerce and communication, highly favoring business partnerships and contract negotiations. However, you must remain mindful of the Sun and Mercury conjunction, as Mercury begins the month in a state of combustion, gradually emerging as the month progresses. It is advisable to delay signing binding agreements until the latter half of the month when your analytical clarity improves. Health and well-being. Your physical and emotional vitality requires careful attention during May 2026. The month begins with a full moon in Libra, your 12th house of isolation and rest, on May 1st, signaling a strong need to recharge your energy reserves. With your ruling planet Mars conjunct Saturn in your 5th house initially, you might experience mental fatigue or stress related to creative pursuits or children. A significant improvement in your vitality is expected after May 11th, when Mars enters its own powerful sign of Aries, occupying your 6th house of health and healing. This transit is highly favorable for overcoming lingering ailments and adopting rigorous fitness routines. Your immune system is likely to receive a substantial boost. However, the ongoing presence of Jupiter and the subsequent arrival of Venus in your 8th house suggest a need to monitor your diet carefully. Avoid overindulgence in rich foods. Additionally, the transit of Ketu through your 10th house might create subtle professional anxieties that could manifest as physical tension. Incorporating mindfulness practices will be highly beneficial for maintaining your holistic well-being. Love and relationships. The relational dynamics for Scorpio natives during May 2026 are poised for significant developments, characterized by shifting planetary influences in your key partnership houses. During the first half of the month, Venus transits through Taurus, your 7th house of committed relationships, fostering harmony and affection. The new moon in Taurus on May 16th further emphasizes this area, potentially marking the beginning of a new chapter in your romantic life or bringing a refreshing start to an existing bond. A major transition occurs when Venus moves into Gemini on May 14th, joining Jupiter in your 8th house. This pairing forms a highly auspicious conjunction of two great benefics. The 8th house governs intimacy and deep emotional connections. For couples, this alignment strongly amplifies themes of relationship growth, encouraging you to cultivate profound trust and vulnerability with your partner. For single natives, the initial placement of Mars and Saturn in the 5th house of romance might manifest as a period of serious reflection rather than frivolous dating. You may find yourself seeking relationships with long-term potential rather than superficial connections. It is important to navigate the transit of Rahu in Aquarius, your 4th house of home and emotional foundations. This placement advises against letting domestic unrest spill over into your romantic life. Open communication will be essential to maintain equilibrium. Thank you for listening. Namaste. Sagittarius Rashi. Sagittarius Rashi Monthly Horoscope, May 2026. Overall Outlook. Dear Sagittarius natives, May 2026 presents a profoundly transformative landscape requiring both strategic patience and dynamic adaptation. The celestial momentum is heavily influenced by the transit of Jupiter, your planetary ruler, continuing its forward motion through your 7th house of Gemini. This positioning casts a highly favorable light on partnerships and public life. However, the month begins with a demanding conjunction of Mars and Saturn in Pisces, your 4th house of domestic peace and foundational stability. This alignment may bring underlying tensions regarding home or property matters to the surface. As Mars breaks away and moves into Aries on May 11th, a significant shift in energy will be felt, transferring your focus toward creative expression and intellect. The ingress of Venus into Gemini on May 14th to join Jupiter creates a spectacular alignment for relationship growth and social expansion. Simultaneously, the Sun and Mercury transition into Taurus, your 6th house, emphasizing the need to address practical routines and wellness. You are encouraged to balance the expansive, joyful energy of the Jupiter and Venus conjunction with the disciplined resilience demanded by Saturn in your domestic sphere. Business and career. The astrological forecast for your professional life in May 2026 indicates a period of gradual acceleration and strategic realignment. During the initial 10 days, the intense conjunction of Mars and Saturn in your 4th house may create a heavy atmosphere, potentially leading to delays or friction regarding workplace foundations or real estate projects. You may feel a strong sense of responsibility, but progress could appear slow. It is highly advisable to remain patient and avoid forcing outcomes during this phase. A marked shift occurs when Mars transits into your 5th house of Aries on May 11th. This transit injects a surge of dynamic energy into your creative problem-solving abilities. You are likely to experience renewed enthusiasm for innovative projects and may find yourself taking the lead in brainstorming sessions. The second half of the month brings substantial support from the powerful conjunction of Venus and Jupiter in your 7th house of business partnerships. Beginning May 14th, this highly auspicious alignment suggests that collaborative efforts, negotiations, and joint ventures will flourish. Furthermore, the presence of Rahu in your 3rd house of communication and initiative continues to provide you with unconventional ideas and the courage to pitch them. However, as the Sun and Mercury move into your 6th house of daily work and service mid-month, you must ensure that your grand visions are supported by meticulous attention to administrative details. Ensure you communicate clearly and avoid risky professional gambles, focusing instead on building enduring alliances. Health and well-being. Your physical and emotional well-being in May 2026 requires a balanced approach, blending proactive care with stress management. The month begins with the exacting conjunction of Mars and Saturn in your 4th house of the inner mind and chest area. This alignment may manifest as internal pressure, anxiety, or physical fatigue, emphasizing the need for adequate rest and relaxation techniques. Relief is expected when Mars breaks away on May 11th. A pivotal shift occurs mid-month as the Sun and Mercury transit into Taurus, your 6th house of health and daily habits, starting May 15th. This is an excellent period to initiate new dietary regimens, schedule routine medical checkups, and commit to a structured exercise program. The influence of the Sun here brings vitality and a strong focus on overcoming any lingering minor ailments. Simultaneously, the benefic gaze of the Venus and Jupiter conjunction in your 7th house acts as a protective shield for your overall vitality, promoting a positive mindset and emotional equilibrium. However, with Ketu positioned in your 9th house, it is vital to listen to your body and intuition. Avoid overexertion and ensure you find time for spiritual or mindful practices that keep you grounded amidst the dynamic planetary shifts. Love and relationships. For matters of the heart, May 2026 stands out as one of the most promising and vibrant months of the year for Sagittarius natives. The dominant astrological event is the transit of Venus into Gemini on May 14th, where it conjuncts Jupiter in your 7th house of committed partnerships. This extraordinary pairing of the two most benefic planets creates a highly fertile ground for romance, mutual understanding, and deep emotional connection. For those currently unattached, the second half of the month offers a high probability of meeting someone significant. The energy suggests that new connections may be formed through social gatherings or intellectual exchanges. The influence of Jupiter ensures that these new relationships have the potential for long-term growth and shared values. For those already in committed relationships, this period provides a beautiful opportunity to reignite the spark, harmonize differences, and plan for a shared future. However, the presence of Ketu in your 9th house of beliefs and the lingering effects of the Mars and Saturn conjunction in your 4th house early in the month suggest that past emotional conditioning or family expectations might occasionally surface. It is essential to practice open and honest communication. By focusing on the present and embracing the joyous energy of the Venus and Jupiter conjunction, you can cultivate a deeply supportive and fulfilling romantic life. Thank you for listening. Namaste. Capricorn Rashi. Capricorn Rashi Monthly Horoscope, May 2026. Overall Outlook. Dear Capricorn natives, May 2026 presents a profoundly transformative landscape demanding both strategic patience and dynamic action. The celestial focus initially rests on your 3rd house of courage and effort, where a strict conjunction of Mars and Saturn in Pisces concludes on May 11th. This transition marks a shift from intense pressure to a more assertive phase as Mars enters your 4th house of domesticity in Aries. Concurrently, Jupiter maintains its expansive presence in your 6th house of Gemini, encouraging a philosophical approach to daily routines and wellness. This month asks you to balance the assertive drive required in your professional spheres with the nuanced emotional needs of your inner life. The arrival of Venus in Gemini on May 14th, joining Jupiter, introduces a highly beneficial wave of grace into your daily service and health sectors. You may find that cultivating discipline and communicating transparently will be your greatest assets in navigating the shifts of this energetic month. Business and career. The professional arena for Capricorn natives this month is characterized by a gradual shift from intense foundational effort to creative execution. During the first 10 days, the exacting conjunction of Mars and Saturn in your third house of initiative demands relentless focus and perhaps forces you to overcome significant logistical hurdles. You are likely to experience a demanding schedule where your resolve is tested. However, as Mars breaks away and transits into your fourth house of Aries on May 11th, your executive command strengthens, though you must guard against bringing workplace frustrations into your home environment. The second half of the month ushers in a highly stimulating phase. The Sun enters Taurus on May 15th, joining Mercury in your fifth house to form a brilliant Buddhaditya Yoga. This alignment illuminates your sector of creative intelligence, making it an exceptional period for brainstorming, launching innovative projects, and finding unique solutions to complex professional dilemmas. Your ability to articulate your vision will be particularly sharp, drawing positive attention from superiors. Throughout this period, the continuous presence of Rahu in your second house of Aquarius suggests a strong focus on financial growth related to your career. While this placement can bring unconventional opportunities for resource accumulation, it also advises against making impulsive professional decisions based solely on monetary promises. Careful consideration and grounded strategy are essential. Health and well-being. Your physical and mental well-being in May 2026 hinges on managing stress and tuning into your physical signals. Early in the month, the harsh conjunction of Mars and Saturn in your third house may generate significant nervous tension and mental fatigue due to overexertion. Finding healthy outlets for this restless energy is vital. When Mars transits into your fourth house of Aries on May 11th, the focus shifts to emotional peace, and you may experience heightened internal heat or fluctuations in blood pressure. The continuous presence of Jupiter in your sixth house of health acts as a double-edged sword. While it offers a layer of protection and encourages joyful activities that boost vitality, it also warns against overindulgence that could affect your digestive system. The arrival of Venus into this house on May 14th brings a healing touch, making it an excellent time to adopt a balanced diet or begin a restorative wellness routine. However, with Ketu situated in your 8th house of Leo, you must remain mindful of sudden or chronic issues. Listen closely to your intuition regarding your health, as preventative care will serve you best. Love and relationships. Romantic dynamics for Capricorn natives in May 2026 weave through phases of playful engagement and deeply practical support. Early in the month, Venus transits through your 5th house, fostering an atmosphere of charm and creative romantic expression. However, a significant energetic shift occurs when Venus transits into Gemini on May 14th, moving into your 6th house to conjunct Jupiter. This highly auspicious pairing emphasizes acts of service and mutual support over mere infatuation. For single natives, this transit suggests that meaningful connections may be forged in environments related to wellness, daily work, or acts of service. You are likely to attract partners who appreciate your diligence and reliability. The new moon in Taurus on May 16th strongly activates your sector of romance, presenting a fertile window for new beginnings and the blossoming of fresh emotional bonds. For those in committed relationships, the focus shifts toward improving shared routines and nurturing each other through practical assistance. Concurrently, Ketu continues its transit through your 8th house of Leo, which requires careful attention to the depths of your intimacy. This placement warns against sweeping emotional issues under the rug. Open communication is crucial, as Rahu in your 2nd house of speech can sometimes lead to misunderstandings if your words are not chosen with care and sincerity. Thank you for listening. Namaste. Aquarius Rashi. Aquarius Rashi Monthly Horoscope, May 2026. Overall Outlook. Dear Aquarius natives, May 2026 unfolds as a period of profound transition and intellectual expansion. With the North Node, Rahu, continuing its transit through your 1st house, you may experience a heightened focus on self-discovery and personal reinvention. The month commences with a heavy concentration of energy in your 2nd house of family and finances, where Saturn and Mars remain in a demanding conjunction until May 11th. This alignment necessitates strict emotional discipline. However, a significant energetic shift occurs mid-month. The ingress of Venus into your 5th house of Gemini on May 14th, joining the expansive Jupiter, heralds a vibrant phase for creativity and romantic pursuits. Concurrently, the Sun and Mercury align in your 4th house of Taurus, drawing your attention toward domestic stability and foundational growth. This month invites you to logically balance the karmic demands of financial restructuring with the blossoming opportunities for personal joy and creative expression. Business and career. The professional and business landscape for Aquarius natives this month presents a fascinating dichotomy between initial hurdles and subsequent major breakthroughs. During the first 10 days, the restrictive presence of Mars and Saturn in your 2nd house may create notable friction regarding financial compensation or complex family business matters. You might encounter challenging situations that absolutely demand immense patience, tact, and highly diplomatic communication to resolve peacefully. The true professional turning point arrives precisely on May 11th, when the energetic Mars boldly enters your 3rd house of Aries. This powerful transit is highly auspicious for rapid career advancement, generously imbuing you with the raw courage, proactive initiative, and strong executive drive necessary to flawlessly execute your most ambitious projects. As the Sun and Mercury effectively form a highly favorable Buddhaditya conjunction in your 4th house of Taurus starting May 15th, your professional focus may successfully shift toward foundational career building, infrastructure, or lucrative real estate ventures. This specific alignment strongly suggests that cultivating domestic tranquility will actively and positively influence your public professional standing. Furthermore, the exceptionally powerful conjunction of Venus and Jupiter in your 5th house dramatically enhances your creative problem-solving abilities. You are highly likely to uncover brilliantly innovative solutions to deeply complex professional challenges, making this an excellent time for those actively engaged in artistic, educational, or highly speculative fields. The month concludes powerfully with a full moon in your 10th house of Scorpio on May 30th, bringing a major professional project to a highly visible and successful culmination. Health and well-being. Your physical vitality and psychological well-being require mindful attention throughout May 2026. The continuous transit of Rahu through your ascendant may occasionally induce mental restlessness or unexplainable fatigue. Grounding exercises and a structured daily routine are essential to manage this erratic energy. During the first part of the month, the stressful conjunction of Mars and Saturn in your 2nd house might manifest as physical tension in the facial region, throat, or teeth. Maintaining a nutrient-rich diet and avoiding harsh speech can effectively mitigate these physical vulnerabilities. A significant improvement in your overall energy levels is expected after May 11th, when Mars moves into your 3rd house. This transit beautifully enhances your physical stamina and provides the necessary motivation to engage in regular physical exercise. The new moon occurring in your 4th house of Taurus on May 16th provides a serene moment to emotionally reset and establish healthier boundaries between your demanding career and your need for domestic rest. However, with Ketu positioned in your 7th house, you must remain attuned to your internal emotional landscape, as repressed anxieties could surface as minor ailments. The beneficial presence of Jupiter and Venus in your 5th house during the latter half of the month serves as a powerful restorative force, encouraging activities that bring you immense joy and emotional fulfillment. Love and relationships. The celestial configurations in May 2026 suggest a deeply transformative and ultimately rewarding period for your interpersonal connections and romantic life. The ongoing presence of the South Node, Ketu, in your 7th house of Leo may continue to foster a profound sense of emotional detachment or a strong desire for spiritual depth within your committed partnerships. You might feel strongly compelled to reevaluate the foundational emotional dynamics of your closest relationships. However, a truly beautiful cosmic remedy arrives precisely mid-month. When Venus, the planetary significator of love and harmony, elegantly enters your 5th house of Gemini on May 14th to seamlessly join the expansive Jupiter, the relational atmosphere lightens considerably. For single Aquarius individuals, this highly auspicious conjunction creates an incredibly fertile ground for sparking new romance. You are highly likely to attract fascinating individuals who brilliantly stimulate your intellect and passionately share your creative interests. For those already settled in committed unions, this joyful planetary pairing offers a wonderful and timely opportunity to actively rekindle pure joy and youthful playfulness. Planning intellectually engaging activities together can effectively bridge any emotional distance previously created by Ketu. It remains crucial to maintain highly mindful and compassionate communication early in the month, as the Mars and Saturn conjunction in your house of speech could easily provoke unnecessary arguments. By consciously choosing deep empathy and wholeheartedly embracing the expansive energy of the fifth house stellium, you can successfully cultivate profound intimacy and lasting mutual understanding. Sade Sati Report. For individuals born with their moon in Aquarius, May 2026 marks a profoundly significant chapter within the prolonged cosmic curriculum known as Sade Sati. Currently, the formidable planet Saturn is transients through the sign of Pisces, which constitutes your second house governing family lineage, accumulated wealth, dietary habits, and spoken communication. This astrological placement signifies that you are actively traversing the third and final phase of your 7.5-year Sade Sati journey. This closing period is fundamentally about solidifying the stringent karmic lessons you have absorbed over the past several years and meticulously restructuring your material and familial foundations. During the first 11 days of May, the intense presence of Mars forming a harsh conjunction with Saturn in this delicate zone significantly amplifies the cosmic pressure. You may experience heightened stress regarding financial security, encounter sudden unexpected expenses, or face harsh realities within your immediate family dynamics. It is absolutely imperative to practice absolute honesty and extreme financial prudence during this volatile window. You must consciously avoid speaking in anger or frustration, as words uttered hastily now carry significant weight and long-lasting consequences. Saturn demands unwavering authenticity and meticulous long-term planning. It is systematically stripping away superficial attachments to material wealth and urging you to discover your true intrinsic self-worth. As Mars finally departs this restrictive house on May 11th, moving into Aries, a palpable sense of relief will wash over you, noticeably reducing the immediate daily friction. The remainder of the month allows you to apply Saturnian discipline to your resources in a far more methodical and calm manner. It is essential to understand that this final phase is not meant to punish you, but rather to ensure that your life foundations are robust enough to support your future growth and ambitions. Embrace the timeless virtues of patience, profound humility, and diligent savings. By consciously honoring the strict but necessary boundaries established by Saturn, you are actively paving the way for a much more stable, mature, and deeply secure phase of your life once this entire transit concludes in the coming years. Dedicate time to spiritual practices and introspective meditation to maintain your inner equilibrium. Thank you for listening. Namaste. Pisces Rashi. Pisces Rashi Monthly Horoscope, May 2026. Overall Outlook. Dear Pisces natives, May 2026 presents a profoundly transformative landscape characterized by intense karmic realignments and moments of deep domestic grace. The month commences under the exacting pressure of a Mars and Saturn conjunction in your first house of self, a celestial event demanding immense discipline and patience. However, a significant shift occurs on May 11th when Mars transits into Aries, alleviating much of this acute personal pressure and redirecting your energy toward resource management. Concurrently, your ruling planet Jupiter continues its steady transit through your fourth house in Gemini, fostering an undercurrent of inner wisdom and emotional expansion. The second half of the month introduces a dynamic concentration of energy in your third house of courage, as the Sun and Mercury align in Taurus to empower your communication and short-distance initiatives. While the presence of Saturn in your sign signifies the rigorous core phase of Sade Sati, the highly auspicious conjunction of Venus and Jupiter forming in your fourth house by mid-month offers a beautiful sanctuary of peace, relationship harmony, and creative fulfillment. Business and career. In the professional sphere, May 2026 may unfold as a period of strategic recalibration rather than aggressive expansion for Pisces natives. The month begins with the imposing presence of Mars and Saturn in your first house, which could manifest as a heavy burden of responsibility or a sense of strict limitation in your career trajectory. You are likely to feel the weight of leadership, requiring you to navigate workplace challenges with absolute maturity and diligence. However, the atmosphere shifts favorably around May 15th, as the Sun and Mercury move into your third house of Taurus, creating a potent Buddhaditya Yoga. This alignment is highly conducive to professional networking, executing new communication strategies, and undertaking short business trips that yield positive outcomes. Your ability to articulate ideas will be remarkably enhanced, allowing you to negotiate effectively with peers and superiors. Furthermore, your career lord, Jupiter, resides in your fourth house, casting a protective and expansive gaze upon your 10th house of career. This positioning suggests that foundational work, perhaps initiated from a home office or focused on real estate and education sectors, will yield stable long-term results. You must remain cautious of Rahu in your 12th house, which may introduce unexpected professional expenses or the temptation to engage in unverified foreign ventures. Rely on the steady wisdom of Jupiter to guide your decisions and avoid sudden career pivots. Health and well-being. The physical and mental well-being of Pisces natives requires paramount attention during May 2026. The month initiates with the taxing conjunction of Mars and Saturn in your first house, a combination that can manifest as profound physical exhaustion, heightened stress, or a feeling of vitality depletion. It is absolutely vital that you do not push your body beyond its limits during this first week. Relief is anticipated after May 11th, when Mars departs your sign, alleviating much of the acute physical tension. However, Saturn remains in your ascendant, continuing to demand a highly disciplined approach to your lifestyle, diet, and sleep routines. Ketu residing in your 6th house of health suggests a need to rely on holistic or alternative healing modalities, while also remaining vigilant against difficult-to-diagnose ailments. The full moon on May the 1st may bring a wave of psychological intensity, requiring emotional grounding. Fortunately, the benevolent presence of Jupiter, soon joined by Venus, in your 4th house will provide immense emotional resilience and inner peace, acting as a profound psychological anchor amidst physical demands. Focus on restorative practices and gentle routines to maintain your equilibrium. Love and relationships. The relational dynamics for Pisces natives during May 2026 are poised to transition from initial friction to profound emotional harmony. During the first 10 days, the abrasive conjunction of Mars and Saturn in your first house may project an aura of rigidity or frustration, potentially causing misunderstandings or an emotional distance between you and your partner. It is crucial to practice immense patience and avoid imposing your internal stress onto your loved ones. A beautiful transformation awaits on May 14th, as Venus, the planet of love, transits into Gemini to conjunct Jupiter in your 4th house of domestic life. This alignment is exceedingly auspicious, creating an atmosphere of deep affection, emotional security, and joy within your home. For singles, this transit suggests a high probability of finding meaningful connections through family introductions or within comforting, familiar environments. Those in committed relationships will likely experience a period of renewed devotion and a shared desire to beautify their living space or host intimate gatherings. The full moon in Libra on May the 1st may bring hidden emotional matters to the surface, urging you to address intimacy issues with vulnerability and truth. By embracing the nurturing energy of the Venus and Jupiter conjunction, you can cultivate a sanctuary of love that withstands external pressures and fosters genuine, long-lasting bonds. Sade Sati Report. Dear Pisces natives, you are currently navigating the profound and transformative core phase of Sade Sati, as Saturn transits directly over your natal moon in the sign of Pisces. This second phase of the 7.5-year cycle is universally recognized as the most intense period of karmic reckoning, psychological restructuring, and personal maturation. Throughout May 2026, Saturn maintains its progressive motion in the Uttara Bhadrapada Nakshatra, a constellation deeply associated with spiritual depth, sacrifice, and the mastery of the subconscious mind. During this transit, the universe is systematically stripping away illusions and forcing you to confront the unvarnished reality of your life choices, your relationships, and your fundamental identity. You may experience a pervasive sense of heaviness, isolation, or a feeling that your responsibilities are overwhelmingly burdensome. The first 10 days of May are particularly critical, as the fiery planet Mars conjuncts Saturn in your ascendant, potentially manifesting as intense internal friction, physical fatigue, or a profound clash between your desire for immediate action and Saturn as mandate for slow, methodical endurance. It is absolutely essential to recognize that this pressure is not a punishment, but a cosmic forging process. Saturn is demanding authenticity and resilience. By embracing discipline, maintaining a humble demeanor, and accepting the reality of your current circumstances without resistance, you can mitigate the harshness of this transit. The movement of Mars away from Saturn on May 11th will provide a noticeable release of acute tension, allowing you to breathe easier. Use the remainder of the month to build solid foundations, prioritize your physical health, and engage in meditative practices that calm the mind. The ultimate gift of this core Sade Sati phase is an unshakable inner strength and a profound alignment with your true life purpose. Face these karmic lessons with grace, and you will emerge significantly wiser. Thank you for listening. Namaste. Thank you for watching Cosmic Cues, your favorite channel for Vedic astrology. Please do like this video and subscribe to our channel.